You know what's funny? Because we've made so much fun of my mixtape. I listened to my shit this week.
Please bring it. Let us
know.
I was a hard guy.
It's so crazy that you still have it.
I don't think shut up, man.
Like that mixtape leaking is worse than your nude stage.
Wow.
It wasn't that bad, by the way.
Guys, man, welcome to yet another episode of the Tribe UG podcast, episode number 3. We thought we couldn't make it until episode number 3. Guys were going to cancel us, but yes,
the man follows.
And as usual, I'm with the crew, the gang.
Yeah, but you need to stop calling me Apollo. There's trauma. There's trauma related with that name.
Ian, but now you're brought back Apollo.
No. Those days, I mean, I tried to work kids. I was trying to be cool and stuff,
career.
you know. And I realized spreadsheets are not such a bad idea after all.
Yeah, we are here with Ian Paul, the writer. And the hooligan.
The hooligan Felix. And me, myself, the Mark. The count.
Yeah, and today we have another exciting situation that we're going to be discussing on the podcast. And
you see, 2020 was a long... It was a year that it had many... In fact, I shouldn't talk too soon because this was the week where it all went wrong. But there are some guys who helped us, helped us get through it, gave us some good music, some not so good. But hey, they gave us music. So,
music is music.
So we're here to talk about what we got to listen to.
Like guys thought, you know what? The worst that happened is the pandemic. So if I guys will not get it.
Like no matter how bad my shit is,
the pandemic is worse. Oh, I can blame that. No. I had the COVID, so I had the video.
But yeah, so today we're going to be discussing those projects, man. Those projects that took us through the hard times.
But you know, guys that didn't drop in the pandemic have no excuse. You had all the time in the world. Maybe you didn't have money.
Maybe they were sick.
Probably the marketing situation was tricky for them.
No, social media was at its all-time best. Challenge here, challenge there. I mean, by the time guys did, if you didn't drop, I'm not saying everyone should have, but...
And also it was the pandemic, man. You might find guys...
Guys, the struggle.
Guys were dealing with their private life, you know?
Yeah. Mama, I don't blame you. Things are rough.
Yeah. So today, like I said, we're going to discuss those Ugandan hip-hop albums that took us through that rough patch of 2020. And we are starting with Lagum's, I don't know how to pronounce that album name. Is it an abbreviation? Is it what's the situation with that? Hey, in case you're wondering, ISO, check it out on streaming platform. I don't know. ISO, and I don't read dude's projects.
Rename it, and now we also start explaining.
Yeah. So personally,
I think it's ISO. Because it's the capital
International Standard Organization, the one that gives people the codes that you're certified. But yeah, that project, what do you think, guys?
Well, for me,
let's say out of 10. Let's start from there. How many? Oh, you want to first discuss?
Because that out of 10 is hard work.
For me, Lagum has been that guy that's constantly evolving in more like in his comfort zone. And I like the project. I really do, because it's a project you can listen to on a Saturday as you're chilling in the house, driving to town to do shopping. You don't need, it's not a project where you're going to play and sit down and...
It's so funny. I have to interrupt because I wrote down the same thing. I was like, it's good. I mean this in the nicest way. It's good background music.
Yeah.
Like it's there, you're chilling with the guys, you're seated, small drink up, small system, and it's there playing. And it takes you through.
And you see, that has always been like his vibe.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
And it's not, of course, there are times he has his moments on features where he tries to, as much I'm the guy who is always on my vibe and my music is chill, but I can also bring it. But for these projects, I like it. but more of it serves a certain purpose. If it's a chill or something, it's not a project you're going to randomly be there and you're like, man, I need to listen to some hardcore UG stuff and you plug it. No, it's chilling, like you're saying, chilling with a crew. You're drinking. There's this channel has come around. You want some dope music,
Shout
you
out
know.
to the channels
that
Ian is talking about. Because you got married last year. You got married last year.
I was talking about you guys. When you bring your Vianas, you play this jam. Me, I be chilling on these jams with my wife. For you, when you bring
like background music with your wife.
There's some songs for that on there. But anyway. No, yeah, I do agree with Ian. I feel like it's that type of music. It's, you play it in the back, and unfortunately, like I really wanted to have like some 2-3 songs that I can go and be like, oh guys, you need to listen to this song of that project. But yeah, listening to it as a whole, I tried to find one. I liked Foreign. I think I was even tweeting as I was listening. I was like, Foreign is system, small application. But other than that, there was a lot of, they all blend together, and that's maybe my problem. Like, I didn't get to, you want to listen to the project and then you reach like track 3 and you're like, oh my God, let me start that one again. Yeah. But I think for most of it, I was like just going with it, and it started and then it got done.
But I think I like the way, I like the mood, the whole project. It feels like he created it on consistent mood. So it's as much as it's background music. Yeah. If you're playing it as background music, it's background.
It's background music.
It's consistent. You're not going to have. It's not going to ruin the chill.
Maybe like first skip that one.
Yeah, it actually you can play it without skipping. Yeah. But the challenge is even if you play it without skipping, chances are you won't really have a favorite.
One of the things you kept saying in the previous episodes is that people's work is not memorable, or their verses are not memorable. Yeah. Do you feel like this album is one of those?
The album,
or the songs,
the songs are not memorable. Yeah. Like you didn't have a favorite, but the album itself, the whole, if you play it from start to finish, you can enjoy it. And the moment you're in another chill and you want chill music, you can always refer to it. But it's hard for
me to be making a playlist, and I'm like, let me get some 2 songs from Hard Paper.
So basically, the man doesn't have a single of the album.
He can. You can always make it work, but,
Yeah.
So out of 10, we are like, what, 5?
Out of 10, yeah, I'd give it 5.
I can give it 5. Because 5 is 50%. So...
But it passed.
Okay.
Because you see, it's...
but you have... Please, tell us what you think.
Okay, here's how I look at it. Like you said, Lagum has grown. And to me, he has grown as an artist in terms of creating music. Yeah. Like music that...
He puts in work.
Music that even if you are not a hip-hop fan,
you can enjoy.
Yeah, so that's what this album is. And then also, it's that album that I would say has that cross-appeal thing attached to it. I think when he was creating, he had it in the back of his mind.
Yes. That's why I some of the features, like with Jimmy Abdul, that was dope.
That dude is Nigerian.
I like that. I like his features with the UG peeps.
Exactly. So I think, and then also the other thing about Lagum, I think even from the word go, he has always had those rare features of people you've never heard of.
And I like that he makes them work. Yeah. He has an ear for that.
Through, they kill it, they do it. Again, it surfaces on this particular project. But then also, the other thing, I should say the negative bit of it, like I said, why I was asking the memorable bit of it is that if let's say you like an album, especially for me, I should at least like if let's say an album has like 10 songs, I should like at least minimum 7 songs.
Yes.
So to me, that would be like, what? That's a dope project.
Yeah, but you see, for him, it's different because...
Yeah, but you see, it's different because he's not seated in this chair. I'm not seated in this chair, so I'm speaking for me. So you also speak for you.
Well, you talked about a mixtape recently, an album.
Huh?
You.
I said what?
You said you're going to drop an album.
Although, where we have to commend him is he's consistently given us a lot of music.
True.
And we know we're there. We have so many guys that we appreciate or that we...
Imagine Lagum trying to discuss his mixtape.
My mixtape.
Lagum discussing Felix's mistake.
Why would I have a mixtape?
Imagine him
You
trying
said
to...
you're speaking for you. So,
Hey, I mean the person who is listening in what you've done.
As a fan.
As a fan, as a person who has, because Lagum gave us one of his earlier projects to put on the tribe.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, from that angle,
He's released a lot of music and he's been good with
and
that.
he has been consistent
Yeah.
because he also produces. So I think sometimes
It makes it easier to get into it and just keep it
You know?
coming.
Sometimes you guys Baba say that beating. I don't have 200k in a pandemic.
That's why Lagum was able to release...
Lagum produce himself, record himself, and then.
so for
and
you,
then move
what
on.
rating do you give it?
I would put it at a 5 also. And I would put it at a 5 because you see people who create music that is not strict hip hop are the guys who are responsible for carrying in new fans for us. Because if, let's say, you play it for someone who is not a hip hop head and they like, he's going to go and look for more Lagum projects, and probably he's going to land on a Lagum project with Attacker, then he's going to go to Attacker project, and before you know it, they have become
Domino
hip-hop
effect in a good way.
Yeah. So I would put it at a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5 is fair.
Yeah. Kracbone's ego. And I'm not talking about his ego as a person.
Kracbone's
His album
project,
titled Ego.
It's first of all, it's a good project to have. Like we talked about this in the previous episodes where we're looking for content from so many of our guys. We're trying to get stuff out there. We're trying to have access to these people. So it's a type of project that lets us listen to some of the guys that are in the game and lets us know what they're doing, right? What they're capable of. Because like you said, with Lagums, you listen to some of the features like, hey, let me go check out this person. So maybe in the same way, the Kracbone project can have that type of effect where you listen to a feature with, I don't know who, and you're like, hey, this Tucker gentleman, let me see who he is. So yeah, so that's the positive effect of such a project, and that's something dope about it. Then also they gave us some good songs here and there. They said it's an Afro fusion album. They gave us Afro fusion. No lies. There are those people who tell you this is what I'm going to bring. A global album. We'll get to that. There are those people who tell you. There are those people who say they're giving you such and such a project and it doesn't meet the standard. They try to do that. One thing I will say though is maybe, just maybe, there were too many songs, because I feel like if they'd kept it tighter, it would have probably been a much better project, because I feel like some songs got in the way of my listening experience, trying to listen from beginning to end, which I've done more than once when it had just been released, again this week, like in between here and there, in between. Although the positive here is I was able to pick out songs that I like. We said that that's one of the things that was missing on the other end. So I was able to pick out songs that I like. And the last thing I'll say about it is it was not monotonous. So we're able to have different vibes. So again, if you're making a playlist for this, you might have a song you can refer to. If you're making a reggae, a ganja man playlist, is a jam in there for you.
420 playlist.
Yeah, so that 420 situation is catered for as well. So yeah, that's it from me.
Yeah, almost same opinion, but also 47 artists
47 artists.
were on this album. 47, 19 songs with 47 artists.
And someone needed only 27 guns.
Wow, these guys had 47 guns.
This guy had 47.
And I'll be very honest, because I'm the one representing the average listener. Not really the average listener,
all
but
average listeners, please.
47 features from someone that's relatively new to me. I don't know for how long he has been in the game. At some point, I'm like, so who's actually...
Which one is Kracbone?
The dude cracking bones.
I had to go on YouTube.
Knuckle cracker situation.
I had to go on YouTube to actually put a face to the guy. Because when I was listening to the jams, I'm like, the album is dope. The songs are good. It's diverse and all of that. But him as an artist, if you're trying to come out and get introduced to the industry, I feel like this is almost like career suicide. Because for the tracks, all these features, most the Ruyonga songs and all these other songs, Taka, even like a Mission song, all this, the other guy is actually more memorable than himself. So I feel like as a body of work, you've given us nice music, but as a way of representing yourself, you're putting it's still going to be, there's this guy with a song. Ryong has this guy who has a song with Ryonga. Ryonga has such a dope verse on it. You'll still be this guy because on the song Ryonga shined. But remember, this is your project. By putting too many features, I get he was giving us more of a diverse album. But what I feel like the mistake, or I know it probably was deliberate, but what should have been considered was himself as a brand. Give us a couple of tracks where we actually assess you as an individual. But 19 tracks, 47 features, a bit of overkill, but overall, it's dope. The music is good.
Let me ask you, because on this project you pulled DJ Khaled.
Yes.
Situation. Do you think DJ Khaled does it better? Like, gives you the songs, but you're still going to remember DJ
Khaled. You see DJ Khaled before giving us a whole album. First shouted in guys' guns, so we knew him.
Kracbone should first shout.
But more like if you're trying to get out there, first get out there, then you can give us this. But if we're still trying to assess you as an individual, I'm still going to refer to a jam where Kemishan killed it or did some dope stuff or J-Watts or something. But you as an individual, you kind of get, you draw it. It's like those mean guys in high school where you ask a guy for quencher.
Wait, what?
And he tells you to bring water in a cup and he puts like a drop. When you drink,
the drop of quencher in the cup.
When you drink, you're still testing the water. There's barely any quencher.
This guy just changed the color a little bit. Wow. Personally, I think, first of all, I wouldn't call this an album. This is just a compilation of songs. That's what I felt like. It's a compilation of songs. Because to me, I feel like an album should be cohesive. Like when you listen it from the start to the end, like it's like a movie. There's like a storyline that the guys are following. So basically, it's cohesive. Like the songs come together. But with this project, you don't get that.
True.
So you get a bunch of songs, a bunch of different genres fused together.
47 guns.
You get 47 guns. I think this episode will be called 47 guns. You get 47 guns. Basically, I commend him for pulling together 47 people.
Oh, yeah. In the lockdown.
Because sometimes, it's not easy even to pull one guy to come through to studio.
We struggled to get Ian here today because the dentist was playing.
Yeah. But now this guy went out there and did 47 guys and brought them through and they all delivered. So I would salute him for that. But then on the flip side, when you have 47 guys, you're supposed to be a good A&R. Like in the sense of like
leave your mark and set a direction.
Where are you going to fit as a person?
Yeah.
Where are all these other features going to come in? Who has a good verse? Which verse should go off? It's not that because I invited you and then you won't be on as a must. No. You have to listen to the project and you feel like who makes sense on this
But
song?
do you know if you had done like a part 1 and 2?
And then also 19 songs, bro. I don't know who's trying to listen 19
That's what I'm
songs.
saying. If it was a tighter
Side
project.
A and side B.
But I did half of this, release it.
You know what's crazy?
6 months later, give us
Drake can give us 20 songs and we listen to them on one album. But Kracbone, I don't know.
You listen to even Drake, Chris Brown, I'm a fan, but I will listen to some.
Did Chris Brown have like a 38?
40 something.
Let me tell you something. I stopped listening to Chris Brown albums. That's exactly it. Because there's that noise. There's a way they just bleh. So I just wait for them singles.
So you see now, it goes back to that whole thing of be a good A&R. At the end of the day, me treat this as an album. I don't treat it as an album. To me, it's a compilation of songs. So I can't mark it out of 10. But you guys are leaving me to mark stuff out of 10. But what about you guys? The other one you didn't give me a rating, but this one
He did actually.
I gave you 5 for Lagum.
6.
This one?
No.
Lagum. Yeah, Lagum, yeah. And then this one?
Hey, this one, I'd give it. Hey, I'm torn between 4.5.
4.5. And that 4.5 goes. Actually, you should have said 4.7.
I had one chance. I messed up.
I'll give him 4.7.
No, there are some 2 guns I didn't consider.
Yeah.
5.7. Because you see, like you said.
And you gave Lagum 5.
No. Because me, I'm rating it in terms of as a body of work, the music was good.
This is where I struggle with Ian's rating system. So let me ask you a question. Let me give you. Do you think this album was better than the Lagum album?
Hold on. No. Wait.
I need a yes or a no.
Yes or a no?
No, but I can defend
But
it.
you see that my issue is
Hold on.
if you rate the other one at 5 and this one at 5.7 and say that the other one was better,
No, you see, the thing
it doesn't make sense.
If
his
you're
rating-
rating it for the artist, it's not.
If this is
So Kracbone has been rapping for ages.
Yeah, but
man.
you see, if I was rating it as a Kracbone album,
I don't even know what
but
you're
as an
saying.
album,
Actually-
it's actually good music.
You see, the thing is, Kracbone has been doing this thing for a minute where he gets a bunch of guys on one track. And one of the best tracks he ever did that on was Balance of Power, BOP, like from the Urban Accent guys. I know he was I'm not sure whether he was a team lead, but from the conversations I had, he was the team lead of that project.
Yeah, but
it's one of the spectacular projects.
Do you agree that someone can give you nice music?
And a trash album?
No.
Oh.
Like someone can put together. Your DJ Khaled example.
Yeah.
If DJ Khaled tried to rap, what score would you give it?
No, that's a different
But
conversation altogether.
No, more like you see, the music. I actually loved the music. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed
I remember your messages as you were listening.
Yeah, but
tweets. You tweeted this. I saw some tweets.
Okay,
But you see, the challenge I was having is I failed to actually sieve out Kracbone and assess him as an individual. But the music, I
maybe
really
he didn't
loved
want
it.
to be known and just wanted guys to discover these other guys.
And that's where it puts my rating scale a bit of here and there, because
Your scale is always here and there. We
Because-
shall prove this as we continue to go
Let me
down.
ask
that
you,
list.
out of 19 songs, how many do you like of the album? Give me a rough number.
really like the ones I put on playlists, about 4.
So, 4 out of 19.
But I
You
but
can
you
be
see-
honest. You got like 4 songs out of 19.
Yeah, but you see, the thing
One
is,
album.
every track is different.
Yes.
So you can actually, I didn't have a
Regardless,
moment
I just
of,
had to, even if of all those tracks that are different, how many did you like?
I didn't have a moment where I needed to skip.
I did.
But you see,
Yeah, and you're like,
no, honestly, because I always complain about, you're giving us an album on the same tone, and unless you're doing it tastefully like Lagum. But there's when someone gives you the same tone and you're
Where
like,
it's
"What is-"
monotonous and you're like,
Yeah.
why am I still listening? I can guess how the rest of it
Exactly,
goes.
but this was really different. It was there.
when it is monotonous, aka motono.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. Open time. Taka, Blixxack.
Every time I talk about Benny, you guys say I'm biased.
Please say your good
No,
things.
you guys have to talk first.
Please.
What do we do?
Let's get this out of the way.
Well,
We know you're dying.
You are our Benny
Resident
correspondent.
Benny.
as and we've said this before, as a Benny and Taka project, it could have been better. Could have been a lot better.
You know, you've told people that we've said it before, but I wanted you to tell them your initial
What you have
position
said.
before
What you have said before
you
COVID.
came to that conclusion.
No, because you see, for me, I still read Benny as the best rapper of the new school. Taka is on a good day he's number 1, but if I had to scale them to consistent 1 and 2, it would be Benny, Taka.
Even when he says vroom, it's not still number 1.
That room is lit by the
That
way.
room
Don't play.
thing, man. I wanted to think it for
That
my
thing is
thingy, but
For your cash roll.
but I couldn't make like a noise.
It's called Taka.
Like, is it copyrighted?
You just say vroom vroom. Those are 2 vrooms. 2 vrooms. But guys,
But you see, if I had to do like a list of my top 2, Benny consistently number 1, Taka number 2. That it does not really interchange unless extreme cases. So for them to do a project together, the 2 very best, I expected a lot better. It's not bad, but for a Benny and Taka project, I would give it, if I had to rate it, I'd give it 3.7 out of 10. Because
funny thing is, if I tell you,
Yeah.
does he think it's better than the other two, he'll say yes. But what's funny is he say, but I'm rating because it's them. I'm like, wait, his scale just moves like this.
I've said this before. If you drive the Mark X, it's a good car, right? But if you went to a Bond to buy a Mercedes and they gave you a Mark X, you'd be like, you get, if they remove the X and slam the three-pointed stuff for Mercedes, like on a regular scale of a nice car it is. But if it's a Mercedes, you're like, hey, this time they didn't do a good job. Same thing here.
Oh, that's a good ass example.
I'm not going to get into cars.
No, but you see where I'm coming from. Like something can be really, really good, but depending on where it's coming from, like
that is well said. You get a pass for that one.
Thank
a 3.7. Moving on to my opinion of this, I think it was first of all 8 songs. I think they gave us a bunch of memorable ones. I mean, I have Samandari on this playlist, Chai on the other one. You know, where my money at when you want that salary increment. You know those things. Like they gave us a vibe for everything.
But so
Addiction.
you send it to your boss.
Wait, I told the boss, man. I just hashtag WMMA.
I hope this email finds you well. Please refer to the attached.
And the link to Rap Genius. What you can follow them.
You know, Taka, there's always a lyric video somewhere. Taka, then you don't play. No, but so they gave us good music. But yeah, maybe Ian will say yes, as a project for the two of them, it could have been better, yes. But also, I'm happy they got it out of the way. Because it feels like it's like they have been longing for that collaboration. They've always wanted to do it. So every other day there's a new Taka song and it's a Benny feature or vice versa. So I feel like I think on Benny's album they have Taka features in back-to-back songs, I think the one with Price Teba and Haned are back-to-back on the album or something like that. So or at least they're in the first 5 songs. I think they're back-to-back. So I think that they need to get this out of the way so that as they move, we get to see more of them in different aspects and in different, because we know they can vibe. I mean, crucial combination, all that. We know they can vibe, but now I want to see more of what they bring elsewhere. I want to listen to a Taka album. I still haven't listened to that. Taka, if you're listening. No, but I want to listen to a Taka album. I want one Benny feature on it, not more, please. Okay, it's not my choice anyway. But it's like listening to a Mith album with 4 Navio features.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say, or vice versa. We know y'all brings it, we know you're lit, but hey, let's see what else.
Seems like you have a lot to say.
No,
he's there scratching his beard. You tell us.
At least today you combed.
Hey. What's going on here?
and this is like a reference from episode 1. We're on episode 3.
Do you know I wanted to buy you a comb for your birthday?
You know?
Those pullers from high school that we want with the camera on top.
Those ones wouldn't work. They need those ones. You first put in charcoal, it gets hot, and then take it through. Open time, man. I was disappointed.
Disappointed?
Yeah.
And let me first adjust my position.
The guy is so disappointed, he has to sit upright.
So, Benny and Taka have been those guys. When it comes to new school rapping, like, they've been those guys.
Yeah.
Like, you can't touch them, you can't, they've been those assassins. So now,
wow, did you see your assassins? He's like, God.
Why do you want to
Good times.
But, so, it's like you have Jeko and Kendrick.
Yeah.
These are people who have been rumored to do a project together. So Drake and it's not Drake. Jeko and Kendrick, they dropped this project and half of the project they are singing. What's that, my guy? What's that?
But singing has become cool.
Do it right, to be honest. Do it right.
No, but I agree. I agree with
Yeah, exactly. So you find that they cheated us in a way. I feel like I was cheated.
You were like, where my money at?
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't illegally download this thing. I streamed it.
I still stream it.
And
It's
I
my
still do.
favorite. So,
Even there when we were going to prepare for this episode.
I think we know Taka and Benny post them numbers.
Hey, them
We are
numbers.
there.
Taka posted, is it 10K for which song on Spotify? I'm one of those numbers.
I'm
You're
there
like-
many
you're like
times.
5K.
I'm 47 of them.
Even if Spotify just launched yesterday, I've been there.
Illegally.
Oh,
Hey,
they
you're like,
legally.
guys,
We've been there.
VPN. You use VPN.
We already said we don't even know what
Remember,
that is.
in the first episode, we said
We don't know what that is. We don't know that. As we
Me,
play
I'm an
OTT.
IT guy, so I know VPN like when we're working at work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the name of your company? So that
Hey,
people know.
I'm currently
He's
unemployed.
currently in between.
You don't want UCC to come through. To our the VPN.
These are the people giving it out. One of the things we noticed is people were talking about the Monster Jam.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones funny thing for me is it's probably not my favorite, but it's the one that made a lot of noise, especially in terms of their rapping. I think I was happier with Addiction.
I was still saying on the point of cheating. The fact that they even cheated us, bruh, how can you drop an EP and two of the songs have already been out there as singles. Now here's the thing. I understand that like they've been liked by people, you bring them back on the project, probably to increase your streaming numbers or whatever it is. But for Ataka and Benny project, if you guys on that level, I would prefer to listen to some fresh material when I decide to play the project.
Yeah.
So Inze, personally, Batulimba. I expected more raps from them than less
Now,
singing.
since you've said the raps,
Yes.
I've told you mine was Addiction, but let's go into Monster that everyone made that noise for. I see Ian is about to scratch his
Make
small
that
beard.
noise.
But
Monster,
guys were asking, I saw a lot of talks and conversations about which was the best verse, who had the best verse.
But when you say guys made noise for it,
For the first
Speaking of making noise,
someone who made noise on the song also.
for the first time ever. I was doubting Ataka verse for the first time ever.
You're like, where is this going?
Back when I was rapping with my mom. Bruh, let me tell you, I hate that thing when Kendrick does it. When Kendrick does it, I hate it. So there's no way I'm going to let you Ataka dance it.
What if the guy had not had breakfast?
In a pandemic, it's possible. Budget cuts.
Ian.
So you focus on one meal.
No.
And then you focus on one meal and then it hits your phone from states like, yo, you have to record today. Your meal is
I think there was some time difference.
And you didn't do breakfast. So you got, when I was shopping with my moms. That guy switched up. He went hard. Like,
The second half of the verse. You're very stupid. Oh my God.
Unfortunately, he had paid 4 times, so he couldn't redo the verse.
then he was like, we need to finish this EP now.
What is going on here? I'm legit crying.
Bruh, if you don't see Taka music or Benny music on the train anymore, that's not the stop sending it because of this. They stop sending it because of this. But honestly, I think Lagum did well. Lagum body is so then he came on.
At least he had eaten.
No, wow.
What you say Taka did it?
Someone said it before we started recording. I just keep remembering it.
As painful as that was, hunger aside, I think Benny's verse was really dope. I went through the whole project. He's singing, like we said, a lot of it, and finally he went into it. He gave us a monster verse. He has a lot of monster references. He tied the thing well together, in my opinion. I know for me that's mine. I'll give it to Benny. For once, Ian is not the Benny.
Taka, Man, Taka, those things he did at the intro. And, that's why he can't be in this conversation over the best verse. So it's between Benny and Lagum. And Lagum delivered a solid hook.
I think I'd give it to Lagum.
What if Taka goes through Lagum's hook? Does that
The
change
hook is the hook.
Does that change the conversation?
Stop alleging.
No, because Lagum is featured. So ideally they pitched the concept to him and they're like, hey, this is what we want, this is what you're supposed to sing.
Or maybe he gave them, guys, have this beat though.
It's also possible because Lagum has been that guy.
Yeah, but well, Taga, it's unfortunate you put him out of the conversation, but it's I'd give it to Lagum.
You see the first box. Lagum doesn't give us 47 bars. Anyway, what is the next one? Strength in Numbers by Navio.
You know,
you wrote some not so good things about that album.
It was not so good. I think.
Are you pulling out the article?
Yes.
Yes, pull out the article because we need to know what you wrote. You might find guy you also wrote that article on an empty stomach.
Me had eaten had food in the pandemic. you see, the thing is, people that read the review, I had people that agreed with me. Several people. But you see, it's again the Mark X Benz concept. But you see, but over time, when I listened to it then, as a collection of Navio music, I loved it. As a new album, I didn't. Because of there were so many songs I'd had.
First, give the people who are listening in who may not have read your article a gist of.
Link in bio.
Yeah, we are also dropping a link in bio.
You see, the part where I complained, where everyone feels like, oh my God, you're so mean. Strength in Numbers will get most of its attention from the hype of a new Navio album. However, with a keen ear, it fails to live up to the name of the artist behind it. You see, Down and Trophy Season are the best new songs on the album because those were new songs. Those were...
Are your best new songs? Continue.
Yeah. But you see, Down is a typical Navio song with his signature switching up of the flow, blah, 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 blah.
Ooh, that's a dope song. I don't even
I
know.
think we are going to mute this guy's microphone.
The features. He brought back Basile with Burna Boy.
So he wants to still complain about
which
the
we
older
had in his 2016 The Chosen album. And as much as we understand the need for packaging an album with such an international appeal, as a remix of a 4-year-old track wasn't the way to go. And you see, my father wrote, had this version had an additional artist, maybe, the remake on this album is not special enough to distract us from the fact that it's a very old song and its time has passed. Then Paper featuring Ice Prince and the Myth. I get it's a signature thing to have each other feature on your album, but if you're going to give us a feature with the Myth, give us a new song. Because we expect it, but let it be new. Remember, comparing this, I compared it to like Drake and Lil Wayne doing an album now, and the new song they give us is like the motto. You get
YOLO.
Like if you had to give us a song,
YOLO times.
let it be new. But it cannot be a standard that you do it. You have a feature on each other's albums, and because of maybe time or something, you give us an old jam. You would rather not have it at all.
And at the bottom, you had a rating, isn't it?
At the bottom, I had a rating 3 out of 5.
So, which is 6 out of 10. But so for Ian's thing, I understand that, we have a new Navio album, or we had a new Navio album, and he felt like, Basile, which we'd had before, though we got a different version, he felt Basile was played out. He felt Paper with Myth and Ice Prince was, we'd had it from a bit before. And I guess one of the other things is the singles. The new singles, I think, had come out before as well. I think we'd had Checho before. We'd had Kracbone before. Though it was just before, that one had been freshly released.
Even the song,
which happens, it's normal to release some of these singles before your album. So I think for Ian, it's just that having listened to each of those singles being released and then to the older songs. He didn't feel like he got enough new stuff. So I'll get that. Now for me, the thing is, there's a lot to offer as you listen to this album. It starts with Bygones, which, oh my God.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't like
No. I hyped it even in my article. It was the perfect intro.
I've put out the track list.
Navio's intros are always fire.
He gives us Bygones and he's super fire. He follows that up with Down, and Down is I mean, it's right. You know, it's a very good song. For me, again, as usual, he gives us a very dope hook, which is like his superpower. Yeah. I mean, many of these guys, the reason they don't have good enough music is they don't know how to package it. If you can't give us a full song that's, you know, start, middle, finish, the hook, that's what's supposed to reel us in.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. That's why it's called the hook. And guys don't do that. They don't get it right. So he has that as his cheat code, superpower, instant dope song there. He then says, hey, by the way, I'm not just singing and stuff like that. Let me give you this with Calligraph Trophy Season. He's like, let me rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me remind you that I'm going to rap. You know, so he gives you that. And then in terms of features, I know Ian mentioned the old ones. Yeah. I'll bring up the new ones. He got Samurai to freaking sing on a hook.
Yeah.
Sam is that quiet producer in the pressing them buttons. Man gave us a dope, and not just to see, it's one thing to get him to do it, and then he sucks. There's one thing to get him to do it, and it's a dope-ass song. And there's so many of those, and that's whether he's alone or whether he's not. Now, the funny thing is, Ian has not mentioned two of the features that brought a lot of contention. There's the two features with the flex hooks.
Yeah.
I know 3 episodes in a row, Flex has come back up again. So, our resident separation. But that shows you the work he's putting in, though. Because if it fits in every conversation we've had to have, that shows you that he's doing something right. But still, there's the first one with Daddy Andre and Flex, Banji.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, and we said it even back then, we're like, that's instant hit.
Yeah.
Crossover, because it's going to be for not just the hip-hop crew, but for everyone that's about the music.
Yeah.
It's instant hit. Then there's with our Kenyan counterparts. You know, there's that crossover where it's more of a hip-hop, and, you know, Abanabeka, you know, it's anthem, it's hip-hop anthem vibes, and he did exactly what he needed to do. Now, funny is Ian saying that, because, I mean, that's fresh. Ian doesn't like any of those hooks, and I don't see how. I feel like Flex did exactly what he needed to do in each of them to elevate them, actually. Because we know what Navio will do when
also
singing.
that speaks to Flex's musicality. It has grown.
And for me, that's one of the best things. And the thing is,
if Navio can trust him to have him on a hook, that speaks also on a different level.
Especially for the person who has the hook as his superpower.
Yes.
And I've always said... That brings me back to the awards thing. I always said, if there was a category of most improved, there's a way Flex, like you talked about Lagum's improvement and saying, but it still remains within his zone. Yeah. And for me, Flex, I mean, coming from whatever he was doing before the earlier songs into his later music, I mean, what a hook. We're talking about people not being able to do songs. Level up, different vibes. Banji, after Navio and Daddy Andre singing whatever they're singing, and Flex just adds that, which I don't know how Ian, I don't know if it makes sense for him. But for me, that's correct. Like, that is, I don't even know.
Imagine the guy came and said forwards, but he's credited on the song on that level.
Yeah, there are other people who say forwards in the whole song, but we'll get to them. We will get there.
They say 4 songs, but they're still not better than Flex's forwards. Anyway.
But I think maybe the issue I'll have with Flex consistently.
Again?
No. The thing is
that's your album.
Over time, yes. Over time. Over time, the more you listen to Flex's features on this album, the more you listen to them, they grow on you. But
that's a hook. That's a proper hook.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, it's still Flex. So
let me ask you. You wrote this review after how many listens?
About 4.
That's not enough time, man.
That's enough.
It's not.
I mean, how many new songs were there to think about?
Oh, wow.
So new songs, right? New songs.
No. I have a part where I actually outlined how the track placement
He mentioned, I remember this, he said that one of the issues is some of the older songs are bundled together.
Yeah.
I read, you see, I read. I don't just press that like of solidarity.
But you also, but Mark, you also.
Even the joint with Lay Lizzy, that was a hectic one.
But Mark is, Mark.
You can say I'm biased.
Mark is biased. When this album dropped, I remember I was.
When you were explaining these things, I was agreeing with you. No, I agree. Like I've said, I've mentioned what you've said. I agree that there were the older songs. But for me, if anything, this is the easiest Navio album listen I've ever had.
Exactly.
It's the most, like, I can listen to it from beginning to end any day.
Without pressing next.
But you see,
he has bigger hits on past albums. There are songs that, he didn't build his legend on nothingness. But all these years later, to give me an album I can listen to from beginning to end on any day, and not beginning to end of it's a vibe background music. Yeah. No, beginning to end of I am paying attention. Yeah, but and I am whereby I've listened to it before and I get into like listening to Trophy Season again the other day, and I was like, oh,
Trophy Season, that's it.
There was this. Oh, this was dope.
30 Seconds to Hollywood.
Yeah, but you see, but hold on. You see,
come on.
You see, right now, whenever I listen to this album now, it feels a bit genius and strategic from Navio. Hold on. In a way of as this album probably helped him recruit new fans. You get, because it's a collection of dope Navio music. People that had not had these songs as many many times as I had.
But Navio has always been that guy. He's always been that hip-hop artist.
Yeah, but you see, for
he
someone...
has a new video. The song is Rare with Sheena Skies. And it's...
Yeah, but you see, someone who has been a fan, he drops, you listen consistently. When he drops this album, you feel like, guy, you're cheating me. There's so many old songs here.
No, here's the thing why you're complaining about old songs.
Yeah.
Navio had been creating this album for a minute. I think, for a minute, yeah. So, in the process of creating that album... Not pandemic. You had to keep feeding the fans.
Yeah.
So how do you feed the fans? You let these singles go. But then, they're still on the album.
Yeah, but
they are still on the album.
That's not strategic enough.
But many people do it.
It has to be strategic because the thing you need to remember is that even in the process of recording that album, Navio was out of the country at some point and his presence wasn't felt.
Yeah, but
so how do you make sure that even if you're still out of the country, your presence is still felt? You release music.
Yeah, but remember, you have fans like me. When you drop, I listen to your things every day.
But not everyone is you.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. That's why, from my perspective, as a Navio fan, I felt cheated.
I get you, but then also, the other thing is that as a Navio fan, joints like Bygones, 30 Seconds to Hollywood, the one with Samurai, the one with Lay Lizzy, those songs should have made up.
That's for me the thing. I feel like I understand that the oldest, but for me I feel like it makes sense that they were there. Like, how do I not put my Ice Prince feature on my Ugandan album?
On my
Vanessa MD. But a song that's 4 years old, really, like
my Vanessa MD album joint and. Get to those who streams from the people watch
that
power.
Jump, even the video is dope. The red Jeep Wrangler.
One thing about it is, if you're going to do it carelessly, then I understand your complaint. But for me, when you do it with this purpose, it's not just brought back. How do you don't do a Burna Boy with the noise Burna Boy was making last year? You don't do a version of a Burna Boy feature.
And it's the thing that remix they did wasn't primarily for you.
And
it was for who? The new
European
fans.
market that listens to dance music and that.
For me, actually, I even said I think I actually preferred this version. Unfortunately, we had already had. But I remember telling you that I'm like, I think I prefer this version. But
hey, bro, African Giant, everyone is searching Burna Boy. You want your stuff to pop up when they search, right?
So in a way, the old tracks were a business plan.
They were a genius plan, and then also they fit well on the album.
And that's the thing. If at least they were careless, like that's what I'm saying. If it was careless, then I would understand.
But the track placement was a bit careless. Man. Then all the jams were a bit bundled together.
He said that. I remember him saying that.
And it's true. I mean, I'm looking at it here.
Chicho numbers.
Even numbers we'd had.
Yeah. No, you guys, whatever he might have messed up, other songs made up for it. That's all we have to say.
No,
that's all we have to say. That song with Shay Shay, oh my God.
The album has aged well.
Let me tell you, that song with Shay Shay.
And that's the
when you
style
start
of the
listening to the album, like
The intro is lit.
you go back before you even go.
Exactly.
First come back.
The intro was fire. But that's a trend with Navio's thing. Because preparing for this, I listened to his I listened to Pride.
This is when he had Chigozi, number one.
Yes, Chigozi.
The guy has been giving us the hits for a minute.
Yeah, all the intros.
And that's it for me. Because if you're going to say, I understand that negative aspect, but in terms of longevity, see, people, remember we talked about it last time, like people think having been there in the past means, I don't know, it means something. No, you have to actually have been good in the past.
There's a difference between being an OG and rapping for a long time.
Longevity.
So this dude is an OG.
He's on the right side of
I'm not
longevity.
disputing
And
it.
look at it from this perspective also. Bruh, there are very few OGs in our industry.
But wait, let me
Who
ask.
can release today?
Who can release today?
Yeah.
And fans from back then, they enjoy
Yeah, but
even
hold on.
fans from now.
Hold on.
Exactly.
There are very few.
There's a lot of bias here.
Why?
I said my shit, you bash me, but then you agree with me at some point.
We are.
Yeah? He keeps saying, "Oh, I see what he's talking about. I agree with what he's saying."
We are politicians.
We're not going to dismiss you. Otherwise, we'll mute your mic.
We are politicians. A politician will tell you, yes, you're right to complain, but then he'll tell you, I'm not in the government. It is in the government.
No. But you see, again, collectively, as a Navio album.
You see, he's saying that we disagree with him on the industry. Funny thing is, he's saying the positive things. He's also saying it has aged well. He's basically saying everything
But you
that's
see now,
more
for
positive
you, it
about
has
the
aged
thing.
well now, but for us, we saw it from the word.
I didn't say it
And
there.
we're like,
You
we're ahead of the game.
Yeah?
Yo, we are friends with
Not
the
because
certain
me.
prophet. But anyway, let us move away from
Church,
bias.
not profit. There's a line like that somewhere.
Speaking of longevity and rapping for a long time, and all OGs and all those things, the next album on the list, we had a GNL album last year. Moment of silence for what?
Moment of silence for GNL was on Koi Koi. Like, bruh. Shout out to the GNL. And by the way, don't quote that Jay-Z lyric where he says, "Go listen to my old shit." No, here it doesn't work. Here it doesn't work. And and this is the reason why it doesn't work. Look, guys. When you create albums, right? You sort of like have to deliver a better album than you delivered last time.
It's not always easy, but
not
that
always easy,
should
but
be at least one of your
it's an
goals, right?
expectation.
Exactly.
Better than my last self.
Exactly.
And the rappers, the ones who say, yes, the only competition is me.
I don't see your niggas. Bruh, we are seeing you, John Cena situation. So, in my opinion, I've listened to all GNL projects, and GNL hasn't done a better album than Koi Koi. And this is me putting GNL projects against GNL projects. Not any other rapper. Just him judging him as GNL. So before this album, he gave us a song called Dear Hip Hop.
Yes.
Bruh, I was like,
maybe
we are back. We are back.
Especially with that album loading, you're like, all right.
And the album is called Spear. You, bruh. I started having this vision. Shaka Zulu. Chintu, Nente. I was like, bruh, the man is back. Black Panther just...
the man rest in peace.
You know? Black Panther just said, and these niggas had spears in a Marvel movie. So I was like, you know what? This is it. This is what we've been waiting
Next
for.
Marvel, Black Panther 2 soundtrack.
Bruh.
Go ahead. Hey.
And the guy was in Hollywood, so we thought he had gotten connects. What?
Hey.
Bruh, Uganda is on. We're going for a Grammy.
30 seconds of Hollywood.
Bruh, 30 seconds to Hollywood. The guy was like, I'm not even giving you 47 seconds.
Anyway, so get to it. So you've talked about Koi Koi. Tell us about it.
I listened to the album. I was like, what is this? What is this? I tried to dissect the album and I was like, maybe it's not for me. Like in terms of like I'm Ugandan, he did make it for the Ugandan audience. But then I remembered he rapped in Uganda.
Which audience?
So which audience going to get this Uganda apart from me? And I thought like maybe he's trying to target those guys of Afropunk, you know, those such festivals. But still, I compared with the guys who are performing at Afropunk. I was like, Neda.
And you know, maybe it was for one of those nigga stages, what?
Guy, Nyege, Selector J was a DJ and I don't even know what to say. And you know, and the reason why I thought like that is because of the attires he's dressing right now.
That's cut.
those things. It's but if it's a blue suit, because there's a time I rocked a blue suit, it's a blue.
You know, they always match their skirts with their heels. But
So,
anyway,
and guess what? Let me tell you, me, I'm okay with him wearing whatever he wants to wear. As long as the music is good.
You know what I'm saying? Be Sam Smith. Wear your high heels and give us good music.
And give us good music. That's all we want, because we know you for good music. So at the end of the day, we want good music. But on this album, let me tell you, there is no part I can point at. There's not even one single line I can be like, that line on that song. Nothing. Yeah. And let me tell you, GNL diehards who are listening in, guys, we have to be honest with ourselves, because at the end of the day, that's how the game stays moving forward. That's how the game stays surviving.
That's how we do better. If we hold ourselves accountable.
But when your guy drops and then you just pick him up,
Yes, man.
it's not going to work like that.
That's how my mixtape died.
I was honest with Ian. He
And
dropped
he
his
stopped
mixtape.
rapping.
I told him.
He's one of the guys who killed my career.
Stop rapping to old guy. Like, that's how it should be. Guys, this album,
Since the words are missing, I would like to apologize. You see, in our first episode, we talked about his song, his remix of Herbert Samba's Zikiriza. And we commented on the whole, Lamborghini ya yellow, G-Wagon ya black, Rolls Royce ya blue. Colors and cars, as if he was on Ian's car show. We apologize. I'd like to take that back. That was actually a good song. Yes, the line and the intro was what it was, but it was a good song. Herbert did a good song, so GNL sat perfectly on it, did a good job. I really apologize, because as I listened to this one, my good Lord, I had to be objective and I had to keep hope. I'm like, it's GNL. Yeah. You know when you keep listening, you're like, it's somewhere. It's going to change.
It's going to bring it back.
And you see, again, people will try and say that maybe we didn't understand, the beats. People will give these excuses of, hip hop guys are so niche. They try to keep everything in this box, and he was thinking outside the box. Let me tell you, sometimes there's no box required. Sometimes you just, like, when you get it right, you get it right. You tell me about it was for Europe. I've lived in Europe for 10 years.
International.
Focus. No, the thing is, it's not new. The sound
in fact,
is
even
not new to
Quaro
me.
in French.
You want to show him you have a wider reach than me?
No. Hey, calm down. It's at the end of the day, this is new. This is not a new sound. We've heard people get this right.
Yeah.
So you failing at it is not. And then what's that it's just hit me now. I don't even know how I missed it. The Lil Wayne thing.
The rock and roll thing.
I don't know if there were some of those vibes in the mind saying, remember when he did this? And there were some of those songs that actually, there's no song here.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no song. The only song I remember, I don't remember it. I have to read what I wrote. The only thing I remember putting aside was Energy. There's a song called Energy. I don't know if y'all remember it as you were suffering over there. But one thing about Energy is, for once, he wasn't trying. This is the problem with this woke nation. Sometimes it's okay to just be you. You don't have to be woke. You don't have. It's the only song where he was like, man, just talk about that good energy with
sometimes
that good
sometimes you don't have to address slavery. Sometimes just give us the vibe.
No, I understand that some people will say, hey, no, I have to use my position. I know there's a whole LeBron situation going on right now with Zlatan Ibrahimovic saying that LeBron shouldn't talk about politics. So no. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about whatever you're trying to talk about. I mean, God knows what the hell he's saying. But talk about it, but just do it right. Please do it right. I listened and I kept waiting, and I was listening with someone, and his reactions kept killing me. but I mean, what are you going to do?
If there was any part where they're like, we need a refund. You know how people say, oh, money. This is a real situation where we need our money back.
Money, time, effort, my energy. Rating. Rate. I don't rate it. Let's move.
For me, to be very honest, when I listened to this album, I was angry. I was not even disappointed. I was really, really upset. Because you see, we know GNL. We've had GNL from when he started. And you see, as the guy that brought Luga Flow from the underground and put it on the map and made it cool for people to actually rap in Uganda. And I know from way back, we've listened to his music. We know the vibe he has been about. And we know when he creates Uncorrupted, GNL is a freaking god. But for you to get to a point of your career where you feel like you need to conform to the global standards of what you feel like the world expects from you, talk about racism, talk about all of this, like for you to try and create music in a way of you want the world to see that you walk.
Please, say that line. What's that, Africa, mama?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Like for you try to create music so that the world can see that your work is honestly a miss. In a way of the intro,
the first
song,
imagine.
where he's saying something about Africa. Mama told me about Africa.
Mama told me about
like,
Africa.
Jesus Christ, it's in your heritage. It's your birthright to be told about Africa. You're African.
No, Ian. You see, I can understand it from a perspective of someone, the huge artists and people who are born and raised on the outside, and they're looking in, saying, hey, man, me, I've not just been about this New York life. Me, they told me about my UG. I get someone like that saying, Mama told me about Africa.
Yeah.
But you...
Yeah, and you see where it becomes a bit disappointing because you're listening to it as a fan that has followed him since his career started. Yeah. And you see now in your intro, you're telling us about Mama told me about Africa, all this great stuff about Africa. Africa is not a country. All of that. You see, it's a very upsetting attempt for someone like GNL trying to sound woke. Because you telling us, Mama told you about Africa. It's what is expected. You're supposed to be told about Africa. This is your heritage. This is where you're from. It's the way in class we were taught about Canadian praise and stuff.
This is where I'm from. You know what I mean? And that's the first album. So anyway.
Yeah, so how we're taught about all these Canadian prairies and stuff, all of that stuff. You see, because it's foreign. So if I'm rapping, I'm like, I was told about Canadian prairies. It's different because it's foreign. But I honestly cannot start telling someone about Uganda and all of that because in a way of, I'm woke, I know about Uganda, but it's common sense. It's expected of you. So for him to get to a point where he's conforming to what's trending now, Africa is trending, talking about African slavery and equality is trending. For you to try and create an album, a global album, but from a point of you're desperately trying to sound woke, yet you're really not, but yet you're GNL, you don't have to do it.
But global albums don't even sound like that. To take an example of Burna Boy's latest albums, those are global albums.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's still himself.
Yes.
Exactly.
He's still giving us the vibes.
Yeah, and you see, if for GNL to create something like this, we needed to see a trend leading up to this for us to appreciate him trying to do
it just feels like someone they sat in a meeting and someone said
let me play a devil's advocate. The trend was when he was tweeting about all this stuff that we think that things that were being taught in school, that like Mukajanga.
When he was tweeting about we should not use names like Mark, Felix and Ian.
Like he has been about that energy for a minute.
Yes, be about that energy, but who are you telling? Us, Ugandans. So why do we listen to this album and I feel like I'm not the target audience?
I don't feel like there's an audience.
But you see, the thing is, I feel like the audience is targeting is people in the US and stuff. But again, like you said, you rap in Uganda, so you're trying to appeal to me.
No, let me tell you something. I can listen to there's an R&B song. It was even like I just listened to it again the other day, and it's a Korean song. Man's is singing Korean.
Yeah.
He's done it right. So I heard about this think about it. I heard about it from a friend in a French country. It doesn't like the song cuts. We all don't get it, but this guy is lit. I saw some performances in the States as well. Yeah. So if the music is right, it doesn't matter the language and all that. So for me, it's not about saying we're not the target market because I feel like the target market for that style cannot appreciate such bad songs.
Yeah.
They're so bad.
If Gina has a team, man, why you should fire the entire team and then
no, and you see also
I can't if like I'm on your team, I can't let you release.
Exactly. You see,
but that's,
like you're saying earlier,
being surrounded by yes men.
Yes, like you're saying earlier, people need to start being honest with their people.
Bro, let me tell you, when this album dropped, the Tribe, as you know, we write for our guys.
Yeah.
But this was before I listened to the album.
You posted for.
I didn't post for. I'm like, this is the OG. The OG can't go wrong. This is the guy who told us some went and Muntinda surrender with some sparks of thunder. Omwana gamba ndikulunga katunda. This guy seksekula bamwita nanchinga. Kumubiri gwe kwa diringa.
You are right.
I was like, this guy
Can't go wrong.
Give us the scripture on the gospel truth. You can't go wrong.
I don't have a white katana.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? My son is called Luca, so I was listening to Story at Luca. I'm like, yo, I'm like, I hope my kid doesn't get AIDS, but this is a dope song. Like,
Imagine the guy who gave us such music.
yeah,
Such music. And again, don't give me that Jay-Z line of we go back, we listen to old stuff. Indeed, I went back and I listened to old stuff.
exactly.
And that's where I'm stopping.
And Jay-Z will say that he'll say that on a dope new song.
On a dope new song.
On a dope new album.
Meanwhile, speaking of Jay-Z, shout out to Les. Les was supposed to join us today, but then Jay-Z tweeted that he's selling his majority stake in Tidal. So Les decided to stay in States to get also that information. Les is our international correspondent. Every time there is a breaking story in the industry,
He has to go
Les
outside.
has to fly. And when he's not doing that, Les is also a country diplomat.
Yeah.
So he's on a mission of the country and also of this podcast.
But
So
I'm sure
shout out to Les.
where he's at, people wouldn't appreciate this GNL album.
Yeah. I'm sure
Even
bruh.
it is. Wow.
No, honestly, from your freaking GNL, you don't need to conform to any expectations to create good
You're
music.
God
You are freaking God.
in this rap thing, and Ugandans always come through for you.
Yeah.
When
That's the thing, you don't have to do.
when you're dropping dope stuff.
Artists do this and they don't understand, but like, let's look at, like, let's say Usher.
Yeah.
Do you see how hard Usher has had to work to come back from that moment where he tried to conform to the dance music?
Yes.
How where he lost a lot of those. I remember he had those type of fans.
Yeah.
Usher was like a Beyonce in the R&B world. He, in terms of sales and everything, I mean, Confessions album immediately after 8701. Sorry, you'll forgive me for my constant R&B references, but
But it's the truth.
But it's the truth, and it applies. And you see, sometimes you need to put this in another light for people, for them to maybe appreciate. Because maybe if you say GNL, they may say you're attacking the person. So
Yeah.
let's talk about Usher. Surely that's a greater being in terms of his overall career. So maybe if we put it in that perspective, someone may see the light and see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because he had that phase where he switched, and even in that switch, some of the songs were very lit. So it's not even that. It's just that it took away from the... And it takes away.
Yeah.
It takes away.
It
And you're not as good as it as the guys who actually do that sound.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of affects you. And that's with Usher, who did it right.
Yeah.
Because those DJ... God, I was falling in love again, whatever the song was called. And a bunch of those other songs that he'd released at the time, they were dope. They were okay. Oh my, like they were okay, but they were not as good as the other people that were geniuses in that genre.
Yeah.
Now imagine doing it now and not even doing. Forget not as good as the others, just not as good as anyone. Not as good as you. Because remember, like Felix said at the start of this, we're comparing you to you.
Yeah.
It's not about-
Wow.
It's not it.
It's
Not
really-
it. Not it.
Like it was upsetting. For me, it was honestly upsetting.
This man sent us a voice note at like midnight.
At
He's like,
2 a.m.
guys, I'm very upset.
I can't take this. Oh my God.
And I'm on your track too.
Yo, it was really, really disturbing.
But yo, all in all, man, we expected better from our OG.
Man, I had hope.
But at the end of the day, you are still someone who influenced this game,
Yeah.
and you still have that power.
And we know that there'll be...
And you can still come back from
Yeah,
this. You can still come back
he can
from
snap
this.
those fingers and
As
get it
long
back.
as you don't,
First get rid of the other yes men.
yeah, get rid of the team. Surround yourself with new guys who are willing to tell you that what
Guys
you have
from-
is gold,
guys
what you
from
have is
Tribe UG.
trash. No, as we are. Yeah, kawa, we don't want
You don't deco.
because because
What?
You said Kawa. Do you remember that clip?
no, I was going to say
Wow.
whoever is going to work with GNL has a tough job to get from that slump to,
Yeah.
But it's possible.
but it's possible at the end of the day because it's GNL.
Yes.
We like GNL and we always support him. So shout out to GNL and the people of Zambaland. It's called
Baboon
Zamba.
Forest.
Yeah, Baboon Forest. Yeah, and he has been giving creatives an opportunity through his Baboon Forest company.
Yeah.
So shout out to him for that, putting some coins in people's pockets. The Ugandan.
Yeah.
That was the last. No, actually, Lagum's came out later.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Ugandan.
Ian,
You're not allowed to speak.
I
here.
shall not.
You know, for me, when I listen to this album,
Where is Magno going to speak?
I shall speak.
he's a
Have
bias.
you ever managed to make me be quiet?
If he says something we don't agree with. By the way, guys, speaking of agree, do you realize that we've all agreed on that album?
It's the first.
It's the first time.
So
So we
clearly,
thank
so clearly we spoke the truth.
Yeah.
We spoke the
never
truth.
agreed.
Yeah, we've never agreed on this podcast. But yeah, guys.
When I listened to the album, I remember I called him and told him I thought the album was ahead of its time. In a way of, you see, when you listen to the music the Myth puts out, each album has a theme, but a theme that's elevated in the next album. But it comes in a way of, as much as it's a theme following some kind of trend, every elevation is different, but creates a different kind of sound. And this album, for me, saying it's ahead of its time is, first of all, the title, and then reflecting in the music. You call it the Ugandan, and in the music, it reflects. It's Ugandan music.
Through and through.
And you're not just making music, you're actually creating sounds. You're creating new sounds. You listen to the album and it's fresh. Even 20 years from now, it will still be fresh because he's the only one in the industry creating that kind of sound. So for me, this album I remember in 2014, actually when I started reviewing music, I used to review music for a New York entertainment website.
Flex on them.
We don't just wake up and talk.
Don't just wake up and do an
I used to edit
podcast.
for him. He's like, but I did. But anyway,
And you see how I got the gig, I think it was in 2014.
but he never gave me money. Yes, it was in 2000.
No commission.
Yeah,
No commission.
I was randomly listening to music and I listened to Destination Africa and it was really, really good. So on my blog, I just wrote an article about my best hip-hop album of the year. And somebody from that company saw it and they thought the review was really, really good and comprehensive. And they gave me trial period and I passed. I used to get exclusives to Drake music, to Lil Wayne albums, to Trey Songs.
Trey Songs. I tell you, started getting them for
Let me first rub my hands like Badman. Say it again. Drake and who?
Yeah, so the company would get, you know how when these artists are dropping albums,
how they send you the songs.
This guy, how they say the tribe.
yeah, how they send to these. So as writers for this company would get early exclusive so that you listen and drop the review the day the album drops. And Trey Songs follows me on Twitter. It was during that period.
Because you did a review and
I did a review and he read it and he's like, this African kid is.
No, but he doesn't just call out flex the paper. He flexes in other ways.
But the thing is, I got into this music review thing after listening to the Myth, but more in a way of I realized that artists can actually create music that you can honestly not just talk about, but you experience the music. Yeah. So for me, from then up to now and listening to the Ugandan, it still feels like it's an experience when you listen to his music, but in a way of this is fresh music. There's the interlude. Oh my God, like these are bars. The intro with Maritza is it's just
shout outs to Maritza.
10 out of 10 for me.
And the girls of Kwanzaa.
10 out of 10.
I would have to say Kwanzaa girls because they have to be guests on the podcast.
Yeah.
I've been talking to them. I've been talking to niggas for a long time.
So you're firing us.
No, it would be good to have some ladies, and we talk music,
But
we talk random.
We have
thoughts.
3 mics. Where will they sit?
We will throw you away.
Which one?
We will throw you away. And it's me once there. Me people did say anything. So how can you guys?
Well, Felix.
For you, didn't you have like album like for for like 6 months before the rest of us got it.
those are.
Anyway, I think
no, but one of the things I was looking forward to. That's chill. I was looking forward to this album. So if it wasn't for being around the gentleman every now and then, I think I try to avoid some of the music so that I could experience it the same way. He also tried to keep away. So that was good. It worked for everyone because I remember the day. I remember I was seated. There was nobody around. I sat on the table and in the afternoon because the thing is out. You're like, okay, put it there, play. Oh my God, it was so good. One of the things is the features. Let me start from there. We've talked about collaborations and so many people appearing and what they do, what they take away from you or bring or add in terms of value.
Yeah.
I'll start from one of the features that so many people liked, which is the one for the ladies. I Give Her Love with Herbert and Zamba. Herbert and the Mith have worked together on several songs, right? I mean, they were in the past. Of course, they both appear in the Naluwale situation. They work well together. But this, you see, when we've heard you collaborate before, how do you give us something new, something different? They gave us something new, something different. They gave us a very good song. They complemented each other. The minute that I need to sing on the hook, he just add, I give her that love. Let her do the thing. And give us a good verse. That's that. Me, one of the ones that I think is not necessarily underrated, but I feel like guys like hype. So I feel like people slept on what Yvonne did in Serenades at Serena because that's my jam. Okay, I know I'll say that's my jam for like 10 of the songs on the thing. But yeah, it's really good work. She's perfectly brought into the thing. And you know where you let the person, at the end you're like, listen, sing, woman, sing. The ability of an artist to understand that this one needs to, let it go. Let her
do a thing.
Ooh and ah away, and let us enjoy that. And you see, that's that. And then you have Mal X. We talked about Mal X before in the first episode, and that's an example of the talent he brings to the table. That hook is correct. Like, you understand, that is very well executed. And that the same rings true for every other feature. We talked about giving us one collaboration with Navio. Very well executed.
And very new.
The verses, everything that's put into it is so well crafted. And for me, that is now what Ian said about calling your album the Ugandan and then letting it ring true through and through is it's clear as hell. And it brings me back to people saying, you know how people look at hip-hop and they be like, hey, this is being American. I'm like, this is an example of you guys stop being blind and stop being short-sighted and understand that hip-hop can be very Ugandan. Because what is more Ugandan than this? Like, seriously, there's just so much and so many aspects. And that it goes not just from maybe the things he's saying, talking about the water, the glass of gin, the one typical things that we do. There's the name drops, like if you're going to talk about, to have a basketball punchline and talk about Omoni. Stephen Omoni, I mean, that's arguably, depending on what generation and what you know and what, that's our Loki goat. That's our Captain America, the man who doesn't age. Guy dropped Chifez, Like, everybody is represented, even the Chifez.
We're not going to shout them out.
No, listen, everyone is given their all. And then in terms of the collaborations, again, there's, I think it's No Place Better. Because in No Place Better, you get the Mith, so that's central. You get Big Ben taking you east. Severe, like everything is so calculated. You get east, west, north, central. You get everything, and that for me, it doesn't get more Ugandan than that. And people say there's the bias part of it. People will be like, aren't you biased? Say yes. I'm like, first of all, I will never be your yes man. I have more than one relative in this game. Yeah. You understand? And I'm not going to say yes to any of them just because. You understand? If anything, as a family, we like to make fun. We'd rather, if we're typical Ugandan, it's more fun when you suck, so we can make fun of that. We're jokers. We have many words. It's a good opportunity to express them and make fun of you. But listen, if someone gets it right, they get it right. This was right. And the interludes as well. So it gives you all the aspects you want. If you want the proper rapping, the songs for the ladies, the system. But didn't you Magumba? Like, guys, I was there, all shoulder dancing in the system.
And you know something that I feel like people overlook is how articulate he is. You literally hear every word of every line. Like, it's so easy to pay attention to him because you're actually listening to the words.
Don't get lost in the
it's one of those albums. It's hard to make it a background album
because it draws your attention. You have no choice.
You actually have to listen. Because I remember there's a time I was driving, I tried to listen to it, and it was either driving or the album. You have to choose one. So I'm like, let me chill. When I get home, I'll play this thing. Even when it had just dropped, I was in the house, I'm trying to do stuff around the house, I'm trying to play it in the house, but I'm like, what am I doing? Like, it won't work. So it's just, this album was really good. There's one flaw, however. For an album this good.
No, it's not about the album.
They should have pushed it. Like, it's so annoying.
I think that's where I'm going to start from. He's pointing at me. No good day,
LNF, no good day never fails.
So when you say they should have pushed it, before I jump into it, what exactly do you mean? What did you want to see
The album is so good, and you see, for an industry that's struggling, frankly, hip-hop is struggling, and music, Ugandan music, at some point we seem to have it. Nigeria came, then we seem to
get back to our people.
South Africa jumped in, Ghana is around the corner, guys in Tanzania have woken up. This felt like an album.
It's our turn.
Yeah, this felt like, finally we put our foot forward and show these guys we can actually compete. Because it was the Ugandan, and it was actually going to go to the world and represent Uganda, but in a way of, oh shit, these guys can actually create something unique that stands out and is interesting. So for something with this much potential to not live up to that potential is
So I know Ian, maybe he's not said some of it, but I know he's mentioned stuff like, the reach, like it feels like it should have made more noise.
Yeah.
So there's still noise being made, of course, every year, you hear this and you hear that, but I think he's talking about the actual, let me see, videos maybe.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no performances through and through like before, but maybe I don't know. I'm not the expert here. Maybe Skyline Media can tell us more on what people. But no, maybe not on what he plans to do with the album, what he's planned to do, but maybe in terms of how do you use this to do more. I mean, we've had Destination Africa. That was also a complete album that also had features from. I mean, you said Destination Africa. Give us, Ikechuko on this one. You give us the Ghanaian collaborations. You give us the Kenya. You understand, here and there.
Yeah.
And you give us a dope African sound. So here you say Uganda and you bring it to Uganda. So I think where it is how do we not let it be another album that comes and stays around for a while, and then those that enjoyed it re-listen to it, but the others don't get to experience it. Yeah. How do we get to do more than the last one?
Bagay.
The way you're holding my comb like it's yours, first give it back.
I thought you had brought it to me as a gift.
He said he's going to buy you one.
My birthday was like Jan. So the Ugandan, where to start from?
Start with what you think about it.
You guys have said a lot of incredible stuff. So here's the thing. I'm biased when it comes to this album. Reason why being is that he shout outs the tribe on one of his songs. And for me, that's the best song on the album. I don't care about what else or someone else say. And on that point, I want that line on a t-shirt. So Tambale should act first and work on
Shout
that.
outs to Hagai.
Yeah. So this album, we were involved in it from a marketing standpoint, but then also
so
from...
you're the guys who failed us.
I'm going to explain to you. From a marketing standpoint, from a Yeah, we listened to a couple of exclusives. For example, I Give Her Love. It was supposed to be a Dickens on the hook,
Really?
but it changed last minute. There was a song Nambi that I badly wanted it to be on the album. He refused. We argued about it. He refused. I was like, no.
I'm sure you didn't fight because you
But-
would have beaten
I
you.
know. It was
Put it in
like
the pocket.
at that point, I was going to create my own album, and I put Nambi on. And then I released it early before the actual Ugandan comes out. But the thing about the Ugandan was it was a concept album that they created with cause and effect. So everything you hear on the album is
By
between
the way,
him and cause and effect.
Cause, oh my God.
And now the thing is that he pushed cause and effect. Cause wasn't giving us such music, and I believe no one else can bring out what Myth brought out of cause and effect. You understand? Like when it comes to creating, maybe at a certain point someone will come along, but to me personally, right now, no one can do that because they pushed cause to the extreme end. Because cause is not the guy who creates songs like
You know,
Give
cause
Her
I
Love.
mean, look at in the Myth first album. I think there's Line for Line,
Yeah.
which is very cause.
Yeah.
Then
Line for
there's
Line.
what's that? Keko Nav.
Allow me.
Keko Nav Myth Enigma.
No.
Hazala's
Anthem.
That's very cause. That's you know that big.
There was also
big
he also
hip-hop
gave
banger sound.
GNL that Uganda Yafe tune.
GNL before Spear.
Yeah, before Spear, when the times were good.
The song with Giovanni change.
But now this is. But
By the way,
this
guys,
was-
The song with
in case you're hearing a voice or you're not hearing it, just know we have an audience today.
they said the walls here today. The walls speak.
And it's not that fake audience used to see on 106 and Park when they tell them you clap. No, this is a legit audience. Like they are following the conversation. They know what we are talking about. So today it's a live show. It's a live show. So it was a concept album and the concept was the Ugandan. So now marketing, from the marketing standpoint. I might release a few secrets.
That's what I'm saying.
They might kill
Organize
me.
yourself.
So, from the marketing standpoint, which we went emotional. And one of the things we did was to go emotional. Why we did that is because when one of his interludes he speaks about the accident.
Oh, something about the messed up my left
Yeah.
arm, so I'm always right.
Yeah.
Small effort.
Yeah.
Small effort. This is
So
what
now-
people need to bring up your right.
So with
thing.
that in mind,
Right
Yeah.
thing.
we decided to the album cover from the word go to have the grandmom on the album as an album cover.
Yeah.
And then also
features.
who also features.
So when the whole system
when
was down.
he started talking about the album, he started talking about it from the act. He talked about the accident. He talked about the relationship with the grandmother, and this was all through his timeline.
Yeah.
Because that's where his fans are. So we took that direction.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was so called an album, we didn't want the album to be about him. He hit up LNF, aka Good and Never Fails. The man who, if you have seen the photos of the podcast, is the guy who does them. If you've seen the visuals, is the guy who does them. And he designed the album cover. So it's him and the grandmother, and then the map of Uganda.
This is LNF.
Yes.
Wow, shouts out to our guy.
Yeah, hey, you think
Good and Never Fails.
you think I think fake guys around us? No, you're supposed to elevate each other. No spears around here.
Wow. Hey, you just extreme spears.
So, you know how they are 47 shots,
47 spears.
going on. So he designed and then he had to encapsulate that whole Ugandanness to it. So that happened. So now, once we figured that out, that this was before the pandemic. Now the pandemic hit. So now in the pandemic, you can't market as if the way you would have done it when the world is open, when the economy is open, the bars are open. So we decided to focus heavily on digital. And the content around the album was let's take the album away from the myth and we highlight the people who are featured on this album. We introduce the people to
The magazine cover thing.
We introduced the people to the fans who are going to listen to this album.
Yeah.
So that's where he came in with the idea of the magazine cover. Again,
really dope.
Again, he hit up who? LNF.
Lugude never fails.
Lugude came through.
Yeah.
So Lugude, we made sure that we compiled all the features.
Yeah.
From the producers up to the guys who are singing, everyone. And then we had all that content at once.
Yeah.
So when we had that content, we started writing around that content. Like, how do we describe Ataka HD? How do we describe Maritza that people may or may not know? How do we describe Benezeri and things like that? So now that's why you started seeing every couple of weeks, every couple of days, a new person would be announced.
I remember
something
that
like that.
It was dope.
So now here's the most interesting thing. So we relied on digital.
Yeah.
And to us, maybe we were so involved, we never knew what was out there. To us, that created the impact we were looking for.
Yeah.
Towards the release of the album.
Yeah.
It created the impact we were looking for. Two, away from digital, we also realized TV, radio, they're still important, they're still key. What we decided to do was we made sure on the day of the release, we have a radio appearance. So it's not going to be just a single, hey guys, it's not going to be just an announcement, here's the link, go stream. Yeah. We made sure we had a radio appearance where we are going to sort of like debut this album. Because now everything is locked up, we have to rely on digital. So with that in mind, we booked a couple. So we booked one for the day of, but then also we made sure we booked back to back. Like after this day, who is next week, who is the next person. We did what? XFM? Well, again with Lugude. Lugude has been part of this album. So if you're blaming someone, you also blame Lugude. He's in the marketing department. So who came up with this stuff? So we did the radio thing.
Yeah.
And then we merged those two together. So now we don't have a video. So TV, we are only a mention.
Yeah.
We are only a mention that, hey, Mith's album is out. To the extent that one of the TVs featured him on a huge screen. And people started debating on whether Mith had paid the TV. And we hadn't paid. They even caught us by surprise.
Yet people still think about it.
I know. They we have money. And then they charge us for that. They might be like, hey, so they featured him on the big screen in the studio. They talked about him. They talked about the album.
Yeah.
So to us, that's the impact we are looking for in a way. So now, with that impact in mind, I think after the day of the release of the album, the day before, we were nervous, all of us.
Yeah.
We were nervous because we didn't know whether the digital stores would come through for us.
Yeah.
We were 100%. We had the physical CDs, but also the digital stores. Because normally what happens is that digital stores, each digital store has its own release date. Like, you've given them the release date you want, but sometimes one might delay because of their ingestion process. Yeah. So, luckily enough, every store came through that we had submitted the album to. And then the album went out. When the album went out, we looked at the engagement, the back end thing, the back end of things. The Mith and the brand, they have 2 accounts on Twitter. There is at Mr. Soyuji, there's at the Mith Music. Yeah. So we're monitoring the traffic on both. Yeah. And then the Facebook. And then the streaming numbers. So to us, the impact was created. But like I said before, maybe we're heavily involved. We didn't see it from the outside perspective.
So was during the planning, the marketing, was the impact meant to be local?
Primarily, the album is called the Ugandan, so ideally the focus was Ugandan. So here's the thing also. When we decide to, let's say, go out there, when we say, let's go out there, now you're going to look at playlists. Yeah. Like on these streaming platforms, because they have official playlists, they're going to feature the album on there. And we were featured on the East African Wave playlist. We were featured on the African Hip Hop playlist on Apple. Yeah. And then we had our own Tidal guys here. UG locally, they were supporting us. They were carrying us. So to us, the impact was there for an album that has been released in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah. It's just that the plans that follow the album, the post-engagement, which is the phase we are in right now, we haven't started executing them publicly, but they're being executed in the back end. to make sure that they come out correct. And then also the other thing I wanted to say is that I know they're going to kill me for this. We felt our impact was so great because we had one of the people who had released an album that year reach out to a counterpart saying that I want an impact on that level.
Who's that person?
I can't mention.
But do I know him?
You know them. But they gave an example of the Mith's album. It's like, when I release, I want that impact. And the person whom they reached out to was like, "Goy, these people had months to plan this thing.
Yeah.
They knew what they wanted."
Yeah.
So, and also the other thing with us is that the product has to be good.
So,
Because you can't lie people with your marketing. If the product
I'm
is
the myth, but I am the truth. That's
yeah,
an album.
if your product is shitty,
Yeah.
however much money you have to throw at campaign at ads on Facebook, on Twitter, it's still not going to come through because word of mouth is still the biggest tool of marketing.
yeah, but you've mostly been on the marketing side. What do you actually think of the album?
Yeah, what do I think of the album?
Yeah.
It's a dope album. It's a great album. It's a great album. If someone asked me for a project that would define Uganda musically, it's a project I would point to. And then also I think, like any other Mith project, I think it will be one of the projects that ages well in this hip-hop thing. It's going to age well with time.
I played it last night, and this is how I almost showed up late today because I thought I was playing one song and then I ended up listening to the whole thing. But anyway, usually we have a situation where we look at. Guys, I really feel like, it's so funny. What people do not know is on our end, we gave out certain roles. let me snitch. I shall complain to the people. We gave out roles and we said, because Ian is the devil himself, because Ian is who he is, Mr. Critic, who Mania Trey Songs follows him, we thought he's going to have a trash lyric that he's going to deliver every week, and we shall comment and see if we agree with him or if we disagree.
Yeah, but
one thing is, I feel like I'm the one who is delivering it in sense of I'm the one talking at that particular time. So people are going to be like, this guy is hiding behind here. He's hiding behind here to say bad things.
But the thing is, we have I'm the guy.
You're that guy. But today's...
It's just that bad lyrics are not memorable, eh?
Yeah.
I'm trying to throw you one here. Come, speak up, man.
Today we've looked at 6 projects, and it's only right that exactly what's about. Even our voice in the wall has said we should throw a line from Spear,
Yeah, but you see,
which is quite interesting.
You know how people say they have the voice of the man. That's the voice of the wall.
Those guys have wall to wall like Chris Brown, but. We've talked about, since the wall has said we should talk about Spear.
Well,
that Spear album, first of all.
Wall to wall, Chris Brown. One of us is a former dancer.
Oh gosh, did you used to play that song on VLC? But
back then VLC hadn't reached that 200 level with increased volume. So I had to rely on power DVD.
But wait, when you're DJing with VLC, how would you crossfade the song?
Maybe I crossfade all of that.
Welcome to my TED talk now.
You'd have like two VLCs playing. You pause this one and play this one. Yeah, so anyway.
I don't want to deliver the news this time.
For what the segment where we do what we'd consider trash lyric. It's where we, from the projects we've reviewed or even music we listened to during the week, we choose one where we felt like it was lazy, there was no effort, they could have done better, or basically you can't pay, or the fourth guy can't pay for you to go to studio and you waste their money like this by giving a trash lyric. So first of all, the Spear, the entire album by GNL Zamba was bad. It was a terrible album. I don't get the concept, what he was trying to do, it was bad. But particularly track number 8, titled Wake the Fuck Up. I understand what you're trying to do, but you'll not harass me into waking up by just being irritating and annoying. Like,
You've actually said that, and I played that with someone. I was playing the whole album yesterday. Trying to, maybe I don't understand. Let me get a friendly ear to give me, maybe they'll give me some insight that will enlighten me and make me feel better about certain parts. When we go to that song, Ian has said, harass me into waking up. And it's so funny that the person I was listening with said, yo, this song would be the perfect alarm because you just want to shut that shit off. That's exactly it. Like, you cannot.
What if that was Instagram 20 years? Niggas will sleep. And it snows.
No, you know how what's the song where they're like, oh no, it's Versace. Versace. So I get it. But they made it, they said Versace 47 times. But they try to make it sound,
bearable.
Wake the fuck up 47 times.
Yo. Oh no, there's when he changed and he said Zukuka.
And you see, the thing is, you can shout wake the fuck up the way, how many times you want, but even the tone and the appeal of how it's being said. Because, you see, it's bad enough that this entire album was bad. But the thing is, even when you start judging it track by track, you get to this one and you're like, but now this one, you're like, I get, like, if you've decided to be ugly, don't have ugly feet. You get.
At least show.
Like you may be, it's okay to be ugly, but if we break down, but why is this guy ugly? You look at the head, you look at the nose, everything, you get to the feet, you're like, but
at least
God, what up?
Wow.
So for me, how irritating that song is, it's my trash lyric of the week. The entire album, trash project of the week, then that particular lyric, and you're freaking GNL, for heaven's sake. Like, you can't sell us short. We know what you can do. So,
Let him wake the fuck up.
I don't know if people have caught that.
The voice in the wall.
Man, we did the voice on the wall every time we record because the voice has spoken interesting things today.
Like, actually, like the voice has said, GNL should listen to this album and work the fuck up.
episode is going to be called 47 and the voice. So
47 and the voice in the wall.
yeah. So man, guys, that's it for this week. Shout
Yeah,
out
but
for
first wait,
tuning in.
what have you done to Michael?
The outcome came like that.
But it had only like 2 minutes.
You see, people can't see, so they won't know.
No, and
you are accusing me of.
And you're there, you are combing your beard. It's your beard
But
that broke
here's the
Michael.
thing, guys. As usual, thanks for coming through. Shouts to Les. Meanwhile, guys, I was thinking. No. This is kawaii. This is kawaii.
Is it about to take a sign like
No,
last
it's
time?
not. I was thinking, and I'm like, yo, when we were in school, we had that guy called Makumbi.
I thought you already said you also had flex.
I don't know, Makumbi. And then I was wondering, imagine
Was he a
you're
fan?
called Makumbi and you don't have hose.
Oh, shit. In different area.
Different area codes.
You're very useless.
So hold up, he was not lucky with that lady.
I don't know how he's doing right now.
But then
Shout
it
out
was
to
a struggle.
Makumbi.
But shouts to all the Makumbis out there. Yeah.
You said, how can you be named Makumbi and have no horse? So meaning he didn't have that.
So let me ask,
Yeah.
your kid is called Luca and then the other name?
Luca B. Christian.
Okay, that's kawa.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, I'm not going to talk about your kid. I respect you, I respect the mother, I also respect the kid. Because I want to be the godfather.
That B is for my Biamgisha, not for your name. So please.
So, yeah, but yo, because you name the kid and then just like that, the kid has no hose. No, I mean like as an agricultural industrialist, you're supposed to have hose to dig and things like that. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week. Shout out
I hope,
for tuning in.
I hope you can beat this Makumbi guy.
See you next week. Also, shouts to Good Day, shouts to Great Point Media, the guys who made sure that we record this podcast. And yeah, interested sponsors, hit Ian up. But Ian is not a good rep for sponsor.
Why?
Your email is hard.
My-
Magician.
No, I have the Paulo the Writer Gmail.
We are Paulo, the writer.
Paulo.
But
That's
Ati
our official
Paulo,
email
Paulo.
for sponsors.
it's supposed to be Paulo the writer. I meant it to be traditional.
Paulo.
But because of the Paulo thing, guys refused to do the Paulo and said did Paulo because of the O at the
They
end.
want to be a Makumbi situation.
Wow.
Paulo Mutume. But yeah, sponsorship opportunities, man. Let's manifest this thing. Hit us up on email, contact@thetribe.
So that we can make sure everyone wakes the hell up.
Yes, contact@thetribe.africa. Yeah, we need to pay. We not even to pay. We need to buy soda for the wall, for the voice in the wall, so that they keep coming back. So yeah, sponsors, hit us up, man.
Yeah, and also we need the money so that he can buy for me a new comp. This is not how we got it.
The good thing is we have the fourth homie.
The fourth one, me.
Buy me a comp.
When he comes back into the country, we're going to ball on a different level.
We shall have breakfast that we didn't have. Shout out to Taka my nigga.
No, we have to stop recording. We have to stop recording. We are out, guys. We are out.